Welcome to Connected Conversations. I am Elena Petrova, founder and CEO of Ad Astra Inc. Tune in as we share inspiring stories, connect with local heroes, and discover solutions that uplift us. Welcome to Connected Conversations with Elena Petrova. And today I have Joe Callahan. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on Connected Conversations. I know it was a drive from Annapolis all the way here to Deep Circle. And I know it's nothing new for you because you grew up here in our local community.
Yeah.
You went to school here in George Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I lived in DC for 23 years, a long time, and I really love the community here. As you said, I went to George Washington University from 2000 to 2004, and then I stayed local. At that point, this is where all the jobs were. I met my wife at GW, so we settled down here, bought a house, and then I've always worked in education. So, and DC is a great place for education. So it was a really wonderful opportunity to stay and live here and be a part of the community here.
And thank you for everything that you do for the community and, of course, education. Guys, today's subject is education. I'm sure a lot of us are very concerned what is happening with our education system for multiple reasons. And education is very dear to me, and probably we'll talk about this on what you are doing for education and why it is so crucial for us. In my opinion, if there is anything that we can change in our communities on local or global level, it can be achieved through education.
Exactly.
And so let's talk about this. So first of all, tell us why education is important to you and how you got involved into education.
Sure. I mean, for me, a strong education program, or a strong public education specifically, is the critical foundation for a strong community. And I came to education kind of in a roundabout way. It was always there in front of me, but it was never something that I thought I would spend my life doing. My mom was a teacher growing up. She still is. She still hasn't retired yet. So it's been 30-something years, I think, teaching elementary special ed. And so I always had this commitment to service, I think, growing up. And I tutored, I taught swim lessons as a job one summer. So education was always there. And as I said, I went to GW for my undergraduate degree, which actually happened to be in international affairs and German, so not education related at all. And I always thought, I wanted to do something in international affairs or foreign service or something like that. And it just wasn't the right direction for me. I ended up tutoring when I was in college and working with DC public school students. And I eventually found my way to getting my master's degree in writing from Johns Hopkins. And so I started teaching. And it was one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. And I realized that I wanted to work with kids, specifically kids from kindergarten to 12th grade. And we focused on writing and literacy. And for me, there's a quote out there, and I'll misappropriate it, but it's literacy is liberation. If you can read and you can write, you are free. And so that has been a calling for me my entire life. So I helped start a nonprofit up in Columbia Heights that worked with kids ages 6 to 18 to help them develop their reading and writing skills. Then I started working for a school system, a charter school system here in DC, where I spent, 7 years in administration. And then now I'm out in Anne Arundel County Public Schools, which is the 39th largest school system in the country. We have 85,000 students, and that work continues and it never stops. And there are always people who need a strong public education, and it's critical.
It's incredible. So there are people who talk about jobs, there are people who talk about career, and there is calling.
Mm-hmm.
And not that many reach that level. And for you, it's calling, right?
Yeah, I would say so. It's, you get up every day and you get to do good. And I think that is a great place to be. I like to think I could have done lots of different things, but when I get to wake up in the morning and do good, that's special.
Well, Joe, you're doing more than good. You're changing people's life, really. Think about it.
Education is the long game. So you have to think of it, and it is, you get to change the life of one kid in some ways, but also you look at it, there are, right now 85,000 kids in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. There are millions of students across the country that need support and to live fulfilling lives. And that's what education does. It's the civil right issue of our time, access to knowledge, being able to disseminate knowledge, determine fact from fiction, understand your rights as citizens. These are all critical concepts that our students need to understand today. And as information changes and speeds up, the rise of AI, all of those things, helping students become critical thinkers and critical readers, critical consumers of information becomes even more important.
Yeah, and I'm listening to you here, and it's crucial to understand that education is not just taking tests. It's really teaching kids how to think and how to process information and critical thinking and questioning what is around us. And for me, I will tell you one thing, that I wouldn't be here today and I wouldn't be who I am today if it wouldn't be for my history teacher. Away in cold St. Petersburg many years ago, I was very rebellious student. And they tried to drop me out of school, particularly high school, because that age is an age.
Yep,
the
absolutely.
age my daughter is graduating tomorrow from Blair High School in Montgomery County. And I was a challenge. I don't know how my parents were handling me. But there was a teacher who took me under her wing. Her name is Zinaida Nikolaevna Bolshikova. And she took a chance on me. And I would end up in her apartment almost every day after school. And I owe my life to her. And so basically, building on what you are saying, teachers change life, and she changed my life. And that's the reason why education is everything to me. I wanted to be a teacher, just like you. I was tutoring and doing things. So I'm so grateful to people like you, because you guys are changing lives. Yeah. So that being said, what motivates you? What gives you drive?
What gives me drive? I think when I think of what gives me drive, what motivates me every day, it's grounded in a few different things. I've been out of the classroom long enough that I don't, unfortunately, I don't get to see every day the impact of my work on a student in their life. But now, in the role I'm in, I still get to see it. Like this week is a perfect example. We have lots of graduations happening this week, and graduation is the perfect culmination of kind of all the hard work, 15 years of hard work in some ways for a school system to bring in a kindergartner to then get them to walking across the stage. And we, a lot of times you overlook it because you're looking at, okay, what percentage of people graduated? What were their GPAs? What did they get on SATs? What did they do all this? And all of those things cloud it, that the fact that every single one of those students, if you did your job right, is prepared to succeed. whether they go to college, whether they pursue a trade, whether they go to a community college before going to a 4-year institution, whether they join the military or go to the firefighter or police service academy, whatever their path, they had a choice in that path. They understand what it takes to succeed, and you helped provide the skills to do that. So what gets me up, what like helps me really care deeply about this work is knowing that like every time I see someone walk across that stage, whether it was now when I work at ASCPS or when I worked in DC schools, it's knowing that the work we do has a culminating impact on a student's life. It's our teachers. It's a paraprofessional or a school librarian. It is, it's the back-end administrative office that helps make sure the schools run efficiently and they have all the materials they need to succeed. All of those things culminate in a graduate. And if a school system did their job right, that graduate will succeed. And so you have to know that the role you play, you might not see it, and that student might not see it depending on your role, but you have to know that that is the impact you had. So like that's what gets me up every day, is knowing that it is a generational long game. Like some people say, there's a saying, and I forget who said it, but about planting trees for which the shade you will not ever feel.
Yes, I love that one.
And so it's like I think of that in my work. It's like I might never meet those kids. There might be a student that enters kindergarten next year that I might be long gone from the school system. I might be on to other things or doing something different. But if we all are doing the work correctly, we have planted those seeds, and they will grow into trees in which the shade we will not feel.
It's incredible community work.
Yeah.
And that now that you're mentioning this, that your work is not immediate with students, you probably spend a lot of time thinking about the bigger picture. And from this standpoint, if I ask you to outline 3 to 5 to 5 challenges of our education system, what do you see?
I would say one. Is and anyone you ask in education would probably have 3 different ones. So
of course.
I'll say that this is for me speaking, I would say student mental health and staff mental health in some ways, staff burnout, but student mental health specifically coming out of the pandemic. We've seen, across the country, we see this is, an addiction to technology, the impact technology and social media have on people's mental health. So kind of helping students become recentered in the now, like not on their phones, not online, but like in your classroom, in these discussions with each other, building community across difference, building empathy, understanding that the lives they wish to live are around them, not through a screen, I think is one of the biggest challenges we face in education broadly. More specifically, I think within school systems, it is how, and I would say especially we're seeing this in Anne Arundel County, is how we best support a growing immigrant population and a population that doesn't necessarily speak English at home. And what resources are we providing? Those sorts of things. And I think the third is the economy. Things we cannot control. What is the economic impact on the lives of our families? And how do we as a school system that gets asked to do more and more and more for families, how can we continue to support them? Because we know that if a student comes to school hungry, they can't learn. If they are worried about housing, they cannot learn. If they are worried about clothing or any of these other like hierarchical needs, if they don't have them, they will not be able to learn.
Right.
And so we, as a school system, are committed to helping the whole child. And so that means providing counseling services and mental health services, providing meals when we can. Our community schools do amazing work making sure we're supporting families and students with the highest needs. And we have to be able to provide that social safety net in the absence of other organizations or government entities doing it. Schools get asked to do a lot more.
Correct. Because again, going back to the basics, Maslow hierarchy, until you meet first two steps, where the security comes from, you can't get to the top, right? And that being said, in general, U.S. is very diverse.
Yes.
Population that we have 350 languages are being spoken in the country. Then I looked at this our state, home state, state of Maryland. We have 200 languages, and Arundel County 50.
Yep, approximately.
Yes. So how do you guys handle this?
So we have an amazing interpretation and translation office that really helps coordinate all those needs. I think we have approximately 14,000 families that do not speak English at home or speak a language other than English at home, I should say. And we work hard to connect them with resources, making sure things are translated in that preferred language, make sure interpreters are available, making sure the families feel comfortable and build relationships with the school system in order to, one, trust the school system, understand that we're here to support them, that we also want to be partners in their child's growth and success, and to know that we're here and we can help. And I think sometimes, depending on the family, it can be a little bit more antagonistic. But I think we're here. Like, this is what we do. This is what we're supposed to be doing. It's about making sure every child who walks through our door will succeed.
Do you guys see results, or do you, I mean, I'm sure that you're keeping probably some reporting systems so you can measure, because what I believe in that you cannot improve anything unless you measure.
Oh, yes. I mean, we have, we track everything. In some ways,
which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, which is the right thing to do.
I'm a business person, and in my office, everything has to be measured.
Yes, I wish our data person was here to be able to tick through all the data results, and I could probably pull some up. But we are focusing specifically on, at the high school level, it's always graduation rates, performance on PSATs, mandatory PSAT participation, which helps prepare kids for the SAT, which helps make sure they can get into college. Like, those all connect. Then, at the elementary and middle level, we have what's called MCAP, which is the MATES Maryland Standardized Test. So that is also one of the ways we can track year-over-year performance. But then we have, iReady, which is a online learning tool, which helps continuing to track performance for students more regularly. And so for us, it's about, are they reading on grade level by third grade? Are we seeing students grow in proficiency, grow in getting to that, the college and career readiness level? Because again, it's not necessarily about a student going to college. It's about being prepared to go. Is a student that leaves our care when they turn 18 at, the end of their senior year, or if they're a little older, are they prepared to succeed? And if they're choosing not to go to college, do they understand that choice? was it made? It was an informed choice, because if they're prepared to go to college and choose not to go, that's different than not thinking they can go or not being prepared. Those are different challenges that we work to kind of solve when we focus on academic excellence and building academic excellence and rigor. But it's making sure all students are prepared. And so we have, a variety of measures that capture that.
And my next question is going to be, with the latest change on the federal government level, on the education center, now that we do not have the Department of Education, how is it affecting local government?
Yeah, well, I would say there's still a little bit there. It's not all gone, but it's not anywhere near what it could or should be in many ways. I think the biggest impact we see is some federal funding is in the process of being eliminated. We're still not sure if that happens. It will all depend on some of these budget bills that move forward. We're really lucky in Maryland, I'll say this, and really lucky in Anne Arundel County that we are in a state that cares deeply about education and works hard to fund it at the state level and at the county level. We have a county executive that continues to increase funding to education because he also understands the important aspect of making sure that all of our graduates are productive members of the community and can continue to succeed there. So at the state and local levels are the biggest drivers of funding in education. And then where we see the biggest impact at the federal level is what impact it could have on special education fundraising or funding, and oversight to make sure students, especially students with special needs, are receiving the services they need. And I think that is a big challenge that we face with the diminished role of the Department of Ed. I think there are all these different requirements that they're putting out and all of that. I don't get into those sorts of things. I don't wade into that. And so what we've realized is that it will be up to the states and us as a local community to continue to rally around our students, support them, continue to do what we think is best, and the politics in DC will play out however it plays out. There's only so much that we have control over at this point.
Correct. And you guys doing fantastic work, working on the local level.
Yep.
And I learned about one of the initiatives that you're working on, and I'm a big fan of it. Because again, we can...
Yep.
So this whole podcast is about local communities and leaders of the local communities and the change that they are bringing to their people.
Yep.
And so what I'm seeing, when I learned about what you're doing for your local community, I couldn't stop myself but inviting you to this conversation, because I'm pretty sure that, there are a lot of upset people right now on the federal level through different states. But I'm curious if they can learn from your initiative.
Sure. So
tell us about it.
I mean, I guess I should also explain more of what I do.
Okay.
And so I'm the executive director of the Education Foundation for Anne Arundel County Public Schools. What the Education Foundation does is basically help the school system raise money to support initiatives that drive student success. We work with local businesses, local philanthropists, individuals that care deeply about the school system, want to support them, and we build partnerships, we solicit grants, we do all of those things to help bring resources to bear to the school system to help them innovate, drive student performance, and support the the work we do, knowing that there are sometimes gap in the funding that we receive from the state, county, and federal level to do the things we think we need to do to make sure those students are prepared to thrive when they cross across that graduation stage. And so one of the initiatives we're doing, and one of the things we have learned, is that many of our students, particularly our students that are from families where English is not their first language, is that there are barriers for their post-secondary attainment. So they have a hard time getting to and through college. And so one of the things we're launching is called the AACPS Voices of the Future Scholarship. And what this is will be a scholarship for students to help defray the cost of their education. And it is will be $1,000 to support them, and we're hoping to do 1 to 2 a year. We're just getting off the ground. Our goal is to raise $50,000, and what this could do is endow that scholarship in perpetuity. So we know if we raise 50 now, we'll be able to give out $1,000 a year forever, based on investment principle and all of that. So that is what we're trying to do. Anything more than that would be amazing, absolutely amazing, because we could give out more. But we know that, whether it's buying a computer or transportation or supplies, all the things that we don't want students to have to take out loans for, because we all know that the cost of college has skyrocketed. And we don't want to put students who want to go to college in a further challenging economic predicament. So our goal is to, launch this program and start giving out some money to kids who really, really deserve it. And so that is that's why we're here today. The foundation does lots of other things, but this new program is what we're really excited about.
And it's an incredible initiative, and that is for any student. We are talking about sign language.
Yep.
We are talking about spoken language.
Yes. Anyone who does not speak or they speak a language other than English at home. So it could be Spanish, Pashto, Urdu. It could be sign. They could have had deaf parents and signed at home. Whatever that language is other than English, we want to help. We've seen that those or that members of that community have had greater struggles in secondary attainment, and we want to make sure that they have the opportunity to go to college, and that we can help defray that cost. And it could be college, but it could be a trade school, could be a post-secondary certificate. We aren't limiting just to college, so it is about post-secondary attainment, though.
And for me, as a parent myself, again, my daughter is graduating tomorrow.
Yep.
Also,
congratulations.
Thank you. And also in the state of Maryland. Yeah. And I just been through the whole year of looking for schools, applying to colleges, doing search on different steps of this process. It's difficult.
Yes.
It's difficult. Applying to college is difficult. Looking for various scholarships, it's difficult. And I'm also a single mom, and I'm sure there are a lot of people like me in the community. I was born in a different country, and even so, my daughter speaks English fluently. She was born here, but I wasn't.
Yep.
And English is my second language. So I know that there are a lot of families that will appreciate it very much. Do you have maybe some connections with the local community and families that, without naming the names, of course, it's a confidential information, but maybe there are some stories that you can share that families who maybe already gave you some inspiration for this program?
Sure. I think, we have... I'm trying not to use identifying information, but, we have a couple families that, go to one of our high schools that one is, Spanish speaking. They have struggled to kind of navigate the system here. And so I guess let me pull back a little bit. We also see that this scholarship is just one piece of how we support a student making these choices, moving past graduation. So we have counselors at the schools that are helping students like navigate these choices, fill out paperwork, work with parents to make sure that they also understand, or guardians, that they also understand kind of the process. And we have students, now I'm thinking of one is like, she wants to be a teacher, which is how I met her. And she is, neither of her parents went to college. So they and they're, first generation immigrants. And so they're having this, really tough conversation about like going away to school versus staying local. Like, would it make more sense for her to go to the, the community college for a couple years so that she can get a discounted rate at the state school after that? All of these conversations are real, and they happen with everyone, not, and so we want to make sure that this scholarship can alleviate one piece of pressure. And it's for the student directly. We're not writing it, where you don't write the check to the school, the university they attend, or the program they're going to. It goes to the student, and it's about how they can use it for what they need to make it easier to succeed.
And then, of course, I can predict some of the skeptics who might be listening to this podcast, and they're going to say, how are you going to ensure that the money go to the right course?
It is one of those things where if we have done our job right, and in the selection process, we work closely with the student to have them understand like what are the right things to support them. But they're also, this is a part of growing up. They have to learn to make the right choices too. And if we've done our work earlier, we don't have to worry about it. But, there are support systems in place to help, help them understand what it is they need to, what are the tools they need to succeed after graduation, and what can this help them do? It's $1,000. So it's
not $100,000.
Yeah, it's not 100,000. It's like,
And again, like what we are doing here.
So it's
we are growing communities, right? And of the member of the community, we have to trust each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's built on trust to know like, okay, you need a new computer, you need supplies, you need, if you're going into the police force, what do you need for your training? Like, or if you're going into the military, can this defray the cost of basic training? Like uniforms, boots, all of those things are real costs. And so this, this modest scholarship is about making it easier. It's allowing them to have one less thing to worry about.
Right. So for instance, when my daughter was applying for different colleges, one college application can be up to $150, right?
Yeah.
Just a college application. Yeah. And there are families who might not be able to, like, if it's a one parent family with, like, say, 3 kids, one application might be, close to one application for several kids I'm talking about that can go up to close to $1,000 after maybe not one but 2 or 3 applications to 3 colleges. That's where your $1,000 is.
On average, I read this, I forget where recently. On average now, students apply to 14 colleges.
Correct.
And if each one is $100, that's a lot of money.
Correct.
And not all schools offer free applications to students who can't necessarily afford it. Many do, But that's if you filled out the paperwork, if you if you're a if you're documented, if you're like all of these things require a certain level of understanding and sophistication to navigate the system. And for us, we see that many of our students who don't speak English at home or speak a language other than English at home, there's a wide range of understanding of how to navigate these sorts of systems. And so our goal, though, is to say this $1,000, yeah, maybe you, mom and dad or mom works 3 jobs, and now her income does not qualify her for free or reduced lunch because of all the work she's doing, but she has to work that many jobs to, support her family. Now she doesn't qualify for discounted applications or any of this. So this $1,000 could help cover all of that. This $1,000 could help, pay for a trip for them to see the college they want to go to make sure it's the right one, or for orientation, or for all of those things that a student might not have access to if they, depending on the choices that they have made, I'd say.
Yeah. What I realized during the pandemic, that there are a lot of things that we take for granted. When I say we, regular families, middle to upper class, because when I was talking to my daughter during the pandemic again, like when we were all got locked and my daughter was studying from home, and then some of her friends at the Montgomery County public schools couldn't submit the homework, and they got some punishment from school, but apparently they didn't have internet at home because their parents couldn't pay for it, because again they were not able to show up to work because some of the places that they worked got closed due to the pandemic. They couldn't pay for internet. They were regular families, just like you and me, but they lost the jobs due to the pandemic. They had to cancel internet at home. So the kids got penalized. And what I realized is that it's some of the teachers did not believe that they did not have internet at home. And those type of things that a lot of us take for granted, and they think, how is that in today's world, you're not going to have internet at home? But yes, some families don't.
And they might barely have it on their phone.
Correct.
And I think there's, the foundation worked tirelessly to really help in Anne Arundel County, really help support the school system in, purchasing new equipment, computers for students who needed them, Chromebooks for students who needed them. We worked with Comcast on their initiative to help defray the cost of providing internet access to many of our students. Anne Arundel County, similar to Montgomery County in many ways, is a really diverse county in the sense that the north part of the county is really urban, the central part of the county is really suburban, and the southern part of the county is really rural. Each part of our county, has different challenges and needs. And so the foundation has to help support them in ways that meet the needs of each of those communities individually. And I think that is, it goes back to what I said earlier, is one of the biggest impact on student success is the economy. If there are, the economy can impact a parent or guardian's ability to support their family, meeting those hierarchical needs. The economy could mean a student doesn't have a job when they graduate, even though they did everything right. If they don't have a job, what are the next steps there? And and how does that impact their choices moving forward? And so all of those things play into kind of the overall success of our students and families. And if the money doesn't solve every problem, but it can help with some. And so that's what scholarships are for, to help with some. And I think we are lucky as a foundation to be able to have partners like you to help support this really, really critically important work for some of our students who need it the most.
Thank you, Joe, for everything that you guys doing. Because again, when I heard about your initiative, I know that there is a lot of confidentiality, and we have to protect our kids, and we have to protect the communities and families. So you cannot talk about some of the stories that you probably face and connect on daily basis, but I can talk about my story. As I already mentioned, that I would not be able to be where I am today, and today I am a CEO of the company, and I moved through several countries. I ended up here in Washington DC from St. Petersburg, Russia. I graduated from St. Petersburg State University, and then here GW. None of this would have happened if that wouldn't be for the history teacher who picked me up, took me to her apartment, started doing homework with me, then went home, talked to my parents. My parents were not bad, but they were way too preoccupied surviving Soviet regime and then post-Soviet regime and perestroika. So, but again, she really dedicated a lot of her life to kids like me who were completely delusional and just like running wild in this post-Soviet 90s St. Petersburg life. And so I'm sure that I'm not the only one whose life she saved. And then you guys are doing it here in the suburbs of DC. So I want to say that we will be working with you on this initiative, and I'm inviting everybody who's listening to this podcast. We are going to be from today, the first week of June, all the way to the end of July. We are inviting you to join our campaign that is going to, I'm not going to say finish, but we are going to have an event on July 26th, and we are inviting all of you guys to join that event. We are going to put a link in the footnotes of this podcast. The event will be taking place in Annapolis, the capital of the state of Maryland, our home state. Please join us. We are going to be having music. We are going to have 2 bands where we are going to be collecting donations. Our goal, as Joe mentioned, $50,000 to raise for this incredible scholarship initiative. We are also going to be putting the link that you can donate online. So let's help the families of our local community. Joe, anything else? If there is anything that you want our listeners to take from our conversation today?
It is that strong public education is critical for a strong society. That as we see the challenges that we're facing all around us, it is about helping students become critical thinkers, critical readers, that they know and can have all the skills to succeed, and that it takes all of us to do it. It's not just a school system. It's not just a taxpayer. It's not just the Secretary of Education or even, the president or Congress. It takes all of us in our communities every day supporting each other. And that is what's most important. So thank you for supporting our community. Thank you for joining it. If you're from another part of Maryland or another part of the country or another part of the world, each and every one of us can have an impact on a child's life, and we just have to make that choice to do so.
Thank you, Joe. I agree with you, because you know how they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
That's precisely what it is. And here in our community, and I'm sure in any community, guys, we do not believe in building tall walls. We believe in building longer tables.
Yep.
And that's who we are. So please come over, join us. Wherever you are, just drop by. We are going to pin the location for you in Annapolis. Have a wonderful restaurant, Italian restaurant, with music. Come over, celebrate us, celebrate the future that we are building, as cheesy as it sounds, but future will be for our kids, and our kids will be building our future. July 26th, come over, sing with us, dance with us, and raise money for this beautiful initiative that Joe and the leadership building. Thank you, Joe, for coming over and driving all the way to DC.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in into Connected Conversation. As we continue on our first year, we are incredibly inspired by the potential of positive change within our communities. We invite you to be a part of our conversation, and we invite you to be a part of our journey. Please subscribe to our podcast to stay updated on our latest episodes. Your support is incredibly invaluable. It will help us to grow our community. We also encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments of each episode. Your feedback will help us to create even more meaningful conversations. We can inspire the change and connect with each other one conversation at a time.